I think we did it! Hold on!
CPR can save someone's life quickly. Look at the clouds and incline your head back to halt a nosebleed.
Emma.
If you see an animal in the wild, it will come after you obstinately and maul you. Survival movies are great for showcasing these things, but they don't work great in teaching you basic skills most of the time. These film genres aren't always for education, but for entertainment only. They offer different escape lessons wrongly that are inapplicable in the real world. Do you want to know which of them got it wrong? Here are the top 6 survival movie scenes that got it wrong for you to know. Number 1. Into the Wild.
How long you been out here?
Couple of weeks.
Christopher McCandless's history focuses on the rejection of his upper-middle-class background and his urge for adventure. Over time, he keeps going out to prove himself again and again. He often takes both emotional and physical risks throughout the time, although you can admire his passion without forgiving his fatal flaws. His adventurous nature took him to Alaska's last American frontier. He paid with his life during this adventure. What he left for the civilized world were only a few pounds of rice and a rifle. Every outdoor enthusiast would be shocked at his lack of proper clothes, food, map, essential accessories, and environmental knowledge. This is something unexpected that you can see in this movie. Every outdoor and adventure enthusiast knows that it's a must to pack appropriate clothes, food, and other essentials for any such adventure. Otherwise, the condition would be fatal, and they will be unable to survive, just like Chris McCandless.
What the hell are you doing on my property?
Fuck you, old man!
You got 5 seconds to get off. 5.
Number 2. Blackout. This movie is the story of a small rural town. The town faces a probable cyber attack and follows a rural prepper, some teens, and a couple as they try to make it in this dark situation. Teens here are typical clueless humans that keep making wrong decisions and provide viewers with ineffective survival lessons. They begin on the backwoods hike. After coming back to the civilization, they found it has collapsed into ruin. This makes them unable to follow roads, and they break into houses.
Their first fatal mistake was entering a camp full of bad element signs, and not leaving quickly lead to their demise.
Moreover, the prepper character has also made some silly mistakes. Firstly, he stored all his food cache at the same location. Storing an entire food cache in the same place makes it more prone to theft. Secondly, he kept the cache in his attic. An attic is never a suitable place to store a food cache because it experiences significant temperature swings. This practice can automatically reduce the shelf life of frozen, dried, and even canned food. Therefore, it would be better to store a food cache for an emergency in the house's main part. You can also opt for below-ground locations in a cellar. Moreover, the defensive weapons choice of prepper was also bad. You can see him throughout the crisis with a shotgun only. Even though he has been an army person and must be survival-minded, he never chose an appropriate weapon for defense. Number 3. The Night Eats the World. This survival movie follows a lone survivor who lived in a post-apocalyptic world. In this movie, people are stuck in their apartments after being infected by a zombie virus. The movie is set in an urban area, but boasts different questionable survival odds. The first wrong lesson the movie came up with was the failure to act immediately when things started to get worse. The main lead didn't understand their situation and didn't take a food survey available in their apartments. They take weeks to recognize and see the available things in their building. The wrong lesson in this film is that the lead character doesn't have an appropriate plan. Even though the situation was unfavorable to evacuate, they must have included water collection when things were getting difficult. Prepping before situations become dire is rule number 1 for survivalists.
I know.
Number 4. Castaway. In the film Castaway, Tom Hanks portrays Chuck Noland, a FedEx employee stranded on a deserted island after his plane crashes in the Pacific Ocean. While the movie depicts many realistic survival challenges, Nolan also makes several questionable decisions that could have compromised his chances of survival in a real-life scenario. In the initial days after the crash, Nolan spends most of his time exploring the island and salvaging items from the wreckage. He neglects to prioritize the construction of a sturdy, long-term shelter, leaving himself vulnerable to the elements and potential dangers. Establishing a secure and weatherproof shelter should be one of the top priorities in a survival situation. Nolan's decision to delay this crucial task could have had severe consequences, such as exposure to extreme temperatures, rain, and potential predators. After sustaining a deep gash on his hand from a sharp object, Nolan attempts to treat the wound himself using rudimentary methods. He fails to properly clean and dress the wound, increasing the risk of infection. In survival situations, even minor injuries can become life-threatening if not treated properly. Nolan frequently leaves his campfire unattended, increasing the risk of uncontrolled wildfires. He also fails to establish a proper fire pit or clear a safe perimeter around his campsite. Fire is a valuable survival tool, but it must be handled with extreme caution, especially in a wilderness setting. Number 5. Frozen. Not the Disney flick, of course. We're talking about the 2010 movie. Three skiers become trapped on a chairlift at a remote ski resort and must find a way to survive the bitter cold until rescue arrives. Instead of remaining on the chairlift and conserving body heat, the characters decide to attempt a perilous descent, leading to life-threatening injuries and further complications. This decision goes against fundamental survival principles, which dictate that staying put and preserving energy is often the wisest course of action when stranded in extreme conditions. By leaving the chairlift, the characters not only expose themselves to the risk of severe injuries, but also deplete their limited resources and energy reserves, further diminishing their chances of survival.
We can't move. You won't let us eat. We're gonna starve up here.
Number 6. The Edge. A wealthy businessman and a photographer become stranded in the Alaskan wilderness after their plane crashes, forcing them to navigate the treacherous terrain and evade a relentless bear. Instead of prioritizing finding shelter and conserving resources, the characters engage in a prolonged pursuit of the bear, expending valuable energy and resources unnecessarily. In The Edge, the main characters made a critical error in judgment by obsessively pursuing the bear that is stalking them. This decision directly contradicts survival principles, which emphasize the importance of conserving energy, finding shelter, and focusing on meeting basic needs. By diverting their attention and resources toward an unnecessary confrontation with the bear, the characters not only put themselves in greater danger, but also squander valuable opportunities to improve their chances of survival by securing food, water, and shelter. Movies are a source of entertainment. These are usually inclined to take shortcuts. Therefore, these go to the point quickly. The survival methods you see in movies occasionally occur in real life. Living in a survival condition seems tough more often. However, some survival movies may express that it's not that hard. Those mentioned above are some examples of survival movies that get wrong. You must learn survival techniques from different sources rather than relying on these movies only. Which survival movies got it right? Which of them got it wrong? Comment down below and we'll see you again in the next video.